Well, dear.
Всем спасибо, что подключились к нашей трансляции «Крань Дубай». Сегодня у нас в гостях невероятная команда AVARE, правильно? AVARE?
Thanks all for joining dancing. Today we have Amaes as our guests, right? Yes, that's awesome. So, Maxim, Svetlana, and Ed. The guys launched their startup in Dubai, and we invited them for an interview to find out how they started. Recent breakthrough, last week, right? Here. And how do they plan to develop their startup here? Basically a startup in the field of biotech, deep tech, right? In reality, every one of you had a desire to acquire knowledge regarding camels, their selection procedure, and the resemblance of Evgenia Kanalya's camels to typical camels. Yes, precisely. So let's commence perhaps with more elaboration. And you inform us about the genesis of your startup and where did it originally commence. How did you come to camels?
It's their fault, okay?
Yes, and I believe so.
I am actually the final person to join this chaotic situation, so the individuals actually began without my presence, and they took numerous steps. A great deal, actually. A substantial amount of work was done before I joined. And naturally, the uniqueness of the project lies in the intersection of biology, biotechnology, and precisely machine learning. So this integration, which is the most complex, is when specialists from completely different fields come together. That's why they started without me and achieved many things without me, because it was a story that I don't understand at all and I'm not involved in. Here I will probably let them speak first.
I can still vividly remember the way we started, with tears of pure happiness flowing uncontrollably from my eyes. To begin with, Ed and I are relatives. Therefore, in any situation, it will be beneficial for our business. And in biotechnology, we were not in Svetlana's domain, but we began with the most basic elements. This is about software. From a computer vision perspective, using computer vision software, we have made cameras smarter, enhancing their intelligence and capabilities. And the essence of all of this was incredibly simple: to eliminate routine analytics, to eliminate individuals who sit behind monitors and observe 1,000 screens on a daily basis. A line of 1,000 cameras was set up to prevent all of this, and all of this was done with great accuracy, dynamism, and most importantly, on time by AI. And I had a background in the oil and gas industry. In point of fact, it was in that particular setting that we developed the very first security platform specifically tailored for such facilities. And in that particular location, they carried out the initial pilot initiatives, thereby enhancing safety measures both at the drilling rig and at the substation, so to speak.
This can all be, referred to in one word. We were engaged in video analytics, peak, yes, with the assistance of AI in Novosibirsk.
The computer publication, quite unexpectedly, but very coolly fit into the history of parallel scientific work that I was engaged in at that time. And considering that the guys already had a large grant and achievement in this, it was a situation where they didn't just come up with something and take some initial steps, but actually a situation where high performance in computer vision to moving objects, which is, by the way, a very important leap in biotech to moving objects of different sizes. By the way, this is also, agree, one of the global tasks, because macro objects are one thing, but when it comes to moving objects in a micro variant, and moreover completely homogeneous, diverse, it presents challenges for us, especially in biotech situations. When the guys came up with the idea that the possibility of using, which is, by the way, probably difficult, yes, to transition from oil and gas to a different field, and to realize that the same computer vision can be used, and these unique developments they have, including in biological and medical environments, well, they started looking for a partner, as far as I understand, who would understand.
We experienced a small bit of a situation with Sveta. This occurred following our close brush with delving into the intriguing field of artificial evolution of sounds. And we are grateful to God that the specialist who was providing us with assistance in this matter, due to certain circumstances that we are aware of, made the decision to withdraw from our team. Yes, and yes. Svetlana made an appearance. She shared her groundbreaking developments on integrating her vast experience in medical and geotechnologies related to biochips with our highly advanced neural sieve algorithm, which operates with utmost precision in its specific fields. Her insights and expertise have the potential to revolutionize the field and pave the way for unprecedented advancements in healthcare technology. But we all understood here. You're with Maxim Morozov, but how did you meet Svetlana?
How did she fall for you? I always come on time, actually. I, of course, don't really agree with my relatives.
Laughter is my father, although at times I get the impression that they both belong to someone else.
Luke, Jorah Condor. Luke is my son. Luke, I am your father. Luke, yes. Maxim, yes.
Affirmative, affirmative. That is indeed accurate. Males, correct?
Father, please cease.
Quiet.
For 6 months, we tried to become experts in the field of computer modeling of proteins, having a great developer without understanding what was happening. And we tried to take what smart guys, a smart person told us, process it into a presentation, and convey it to people, and do our best with it. What if it dawned on me? In a span of 6 months, precisely when our friend departed from the team, that the topic is highly intriguing, the technology is absolutely incredible, and that we have the potential to be immensely useful. But without a special person who comprehends all of this, that is, we will never become professionals with a companion. We are skilled in different sectors and in different domains we have achieved. The other side was required, correct?
It was Svetlana who did it.
Well, they are very modest. It's actually a functioning networking because through third parties, meaning people recommended me, with whom I have already worked, consulted, and supervised certain medtech projects accordingly. And of course, this kind of wide networking of guys, both of whom have great competence, have established useful, including productive connections. Yes, they recommended me, and we quickly agreed on a call. I quite harshly debunked their theory that they are currently synthesizing proteins. They were not very pleased. I do not know the reason behind their happiness. Subsequently, we contemplated the actions that could be taken, considering the important milestones they had achieved. How can this be applied to medicine, biology, and, for instance, my obstacles? How can we use some of the achievements that are already there? Here we combined all this, we talked together and came to this point.
So is that the manner in which the camels appeared on the scene?
No. So, for example, the biological direction emerged, okay?
But what about the camels? When will the camels be here? Yes, that's the most interesting part. We are in the United Arab Emirates. Here, individuals take part in camel races, purchase souvenirs, buy camel milk. I sampled camel cheese. But on your side, you have a camel story. I would even say a sausage. We can start talking about camels now, starting with the subclass of microfeeders. Or maybe let's start right from the camels. Right from the camels, so as not to drag out the story too much.
Let's shorten to the maximum.
What is the reason for choosing camels?
Why camels?
Why camels?
In this nation, it is a significant aspect of the cultural heritage. We carried out a comprehensive diagnostic examination of the beloved family pet to assess its health and identify any potential issues. And the initial ones, by means of networking, introduced us to the center in Dubai, dedicated to the production of camels. And this was the first major branch. It was a farm laboratory that accepted us in August, in September of last year. So the first meeting was on September 18th of last year. They did not only accept us, they served us. We arrived with a software concept for automating routine analysis of animal semen, elucidated how it would be implemented, where we would differ from Americans and Germans who were already present in the market. And in general, that was one of the cycles, directing our attention towards the pain points and making a conscious effort to address and alleviate the areas of discomfort that arise. Yes, and it was precisely at this meeting that we were informed that this is good. This solution is not like yours, but it exists, and we are managing. However, you can discover your biotech solution in the form of biotypes and special liquids. That is the entirety of it, nothing more and nothing less, just what you need. At the same meeting, for instance, we were informed that the success rate of fertilizing camels with frozen semen by OA is virtually negligible. indicating an extremely low likelihood of achieving successful fertilization using this method. For horses, for example, the probability of obtaining offspring by using a test tube that had been frozen 10 years ago was 50%. In other words, the likelihood of getting offspring through this method was 50%. The number of camels was approaching zero, and it was a huge problem. And that's where our research began. This was exactly the place where it all began, the very first defining moment. Watching books, scientific articles, including those written by Doctors Lulu and Brenda, played a crucial role in shaping the beginning. A lot, meaning Dr. Lulu has over 86 scientific articles.
Can I add to rules? Actually, what happened was they started, I like to pester them until there was an opportunity for analysis while I was talking moving objects. It was important. It was important for us to analyze biological well, essentially material, cells, moving. Practically all cells in the body have some form of movement. The most common are sperm cells and cells in general, and of course reproductive cells that are essential for reproduction. This is not what we immediately came to camels for. In fact, we researched horses and sheep and fish and so on, but the important thing was the following. The company still maintains a predominant presence in Dubai, and we, in any event, approach with an analysis, let's say, regarding the current location and consideration, which animals are significant and play a crucial role for the region's ecosystem and biodiversity. Of course, we analyzed this moment once, and most importantly, these were Maxim's tasks. Not his unresolved code, so we needed the reverse side of the scientific community, the professional community. They honestly informed us that for 27 years they have been attempting to reproduce camels, but frozen cells do not permit such reproduction. For 27 hours, we treat them wonderfully, grow them wonderfully, but we can't analyze this and that. And being aware of these inner desires, naturally without gunpowder, once again, networking guides in this particular direction. With a good overlay, it would have been unreal. No one would have accepted it, wouldn't have allowed entry. And on top of that, the scientific community, with a small group of experts communicating. When we started talking, and somewhere around the topic of embryo transplants in animals, it's such research that is currently on the cutting edge. We began voicing, reflecting, exchanging messages with specialists from authorities. We'd prefer its acceptance. So then we, of course, gained access to the clinic, veterinarians, and they informed us about what really exists. And the company's competencies, the company's capabilities, not only in the field of computer vision, but also in biotech capabilities. Yes, these chips that we develop, liquids, mediums, various diluents that solve these problems, of course, were well received, so it was very desirable. Everyone was very accommodating to us. Why? Because we undertook such a challenging scientific task. We will attempt to solve it. We seem to be doing quite well in solving the issue of analyzing moving complex objects. Let's also give this a try. And here we smoothly come to the point that yes, we have the first.
Yes, within a time period of around 9 months.
What is the 9th? It is the 13th number.
Yes, exactly.
A camel's pregnancy or gestation lasts 13 months, so that's why 9 is...
No, I mean that from the moment we met until yesterday's tests, it's been since September. The puma came, it has been half a year, but it did not come. Oh wait, it did come after all.
We believe that in 13 months a full answer will emerge like a typical pregnant camel.
Which, let us say, operates effectively. That is the fundamental question at hand. It turns out that a certain female camel has received the semen that you have been diligently working on.
And that is the entirety of it. There is nothing more to add.
Conception occurred. You are slightly ahead at the moment. This will constitute the second step. Our first joy lay elsewhere.
A little off. Yes, I thought it was the first joy.
Our initial delight is our cash register, operating with a cell motion identification system, which has demonstrated comparable outcomes to previous automatic cell counters. And this is the story of a fast, high-quality, and efficient solution to the same issue, eliminating the need for a microscope, extra laptops, and so on, making the work of specialists so much easier that I somehow automate all the routine there, right? Well, basically because of this incident, it was the first joy, the first, well, truly significant moment that the embryo very much approved of. Approved?
Very.
Highly approved, and naturally...
And this is a collector of saws, they said.
in the event that we were conversing in the Russian language?
No, and they witnessed the complete path, specifically the solution that this path has been traveled, we've come and say, here's what we have now, but it doesn't work as we describe it. But this is how it'll work. And last week, remember, we told you, yes, this is working. Such a cool way. And it's not just that we showed up. We used to visit this lab periodically, every 2 to 3 weeks, and it was a constant creation, development of software, improvements, data sets in mind, and so on. So when we showed him that it works, that he was absolutely right, he was like, oh, cool. Well, that was the first joy.
We have another, about the first one's breakthrough. The first breakthrough, if you had to summarize it in 2 words. In fact, not really a breakthrough, but rather a brief period of time. What we used to analyze with low-resolution photo images, we have rapidly acquired the ability to analyze high-quality video images with great precision and accuracy, thanks to advancements in technology and our continuous learning and improvement. The accuracy is lacking. Those companies that spent years and years on their field institutes and technological implementations of technological innovations, we managed to do it, well, I don't know, in a month or 2.
So tell me specifically, what did we basically put a lab into the phone?
Here you go.
They are just shy. I don't know why they are like that. Actually, I didn't mention the microscope, laptop, and other stuff for no reason. Actually, this is exactly the task that was one of the guiding ones for us, so that with the help of this neural network, in simple terms, a vet could go out to the desert, and indeed, often there, in the camel farms, they are all scattered not just in one place. Yes, there near the clinic. They say that he could simply go out with his own phone and analyze, roughly speaking, right on the spot, without carrying a microscope, there, additional special equipment networks, a specially equipped table, a laptop, and so on. So this is what we call a pocket laboratory. Yes, a laboratory in your pocket, and only in the form of your smartphone. And this, of course, was the most global task because no one had implemented it before. When it was variations for people before, it was variations relative to something else. Here live guys who, at the moment, found it extremely challenging to capture this result, to achieve this result from their own phone, to capture this photo or video, well, video in this case, but they also managed to do it. Getting the right result with a clear recommendation, follow this advice, take these actions, or avoid those. No need to thank, it's bad, on the contrary, says very good. Well, in order to create a typical story, I would suggest using only your smartphone device. More, and it's really wow. I don't know why you're silent about it.
It is all around and about, around and about.
Where can I find the meat? Where can I find the fat?
They are accustomed to solving multiple super tasks simultaneously. Well, because in reality it is a very tight deadline. Very short deadline. Of course, everyone was working at a team pace called 27 out of 24, but actually that period Maxim is talking about when, yes, wow, the reaction of embryologists, why? Because it was literally a period of 4 months. 3, 4, 3, even 3 months. Well, I mean, that kind of task actually should have been solved like, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 years. Well, from my perspective, not being a professional, perhaps I'm not fully involved, but nonetheless, in my view, all of this is significantly more, and the challenge here is to accommodate everything within a 3-month time frame. The issue is, Maxim stated that individuals in various countries attempted to duplicate the success but were unsuccessful.
Is this the initial news article or the subsequent news article? It is the second one.
You showed 3 fingers.
This is the third one, look. Couldn't, I mean success of what? I mean that you have something that your competitors couldn't. This is actually the second news that has just appeared.
Yes, this will be the second piece of news that no one has repeated yet, and so on. The second one, as you put it, was alive. This is exactly the next branch of our company, these biotechnological solutions. They involve developing special compositions and producing special compositions that either preserve frozen cells so that they remain alive after freezing, or create special conditions for these cells to start moving very actively, adequately for the next fertility, or accordingly enhance any parameters or change as needed, increase or decrease, depending on the task. So this is a really big group of these dwellings. And secondly, it's creating special skull objects, which is already after their advanced technology. Nevertheless, we also deal with this in order to be able to specifically select them. Not all 10 candidates, but one the best, for example.
Best regards, Oleg.
Yes, the best of the best. And yes, indeed, just last week, well, the guys were not quite aware, I did not want to upset them, but there were a total of 16 attempts made to create the first version. You always want to be happy, and everyone says, it sounds like it's the first time for all of us. No, we sometimes joke among ourselves that it sounds like the first time for us. It's not really like that. Of course, we had 16 attempts to create the first chemical formula and produce in laboratory conditions that very liquid, which would enhance cell parameters so that they actively carry out satisfaction. In other words, roughly speaking, for 9 out of 10 to be good, not just 2 as it is now. And the first test showed a very good result. It was our second shot, our second success. And we're working hard to solidify it now. Of course, we still need to finish some steps. And we hope the third step, which I mentioned has some falling camels somewhere, will result in accidental pregnancies. Accident, affirmative, affirmative, affirmative. Time will come shortly. There is a peculiarity. What is another peculiarity of our work in this case? Because these animals don't breed in captivity. They have only 2 brief periods a year when it's allowed. Seasonality. It's high seasonality. Yes, yes, yes. It's high seasonality. And thus, we must adjust many things. Why such intense work? On one hand, IT departments need to meet specific deadlines, and we have to adjust to that. But on the other hand, this sometimes can be very motivating.
Well, it was when I was 18, approximately. When 3 months ago, yes.
However, he appears to be 19 years old now, yes.
I demand yes.
I require my medication.
Just tested on me. Tested everything on me.
This is the final outcome. The outcome of the task is the result we expected.
It's delightful that you do not hit. What is the next question? I do not. Yes, yes, yes. Next question. So let's direct our attention to the essence of the success you have achieved at this moment. Your development serves as motivation for you to maintain the same pace, move forward, evolve something, and undoubtedly you already have some planned goals and milestones that you want to achieve in your journey towards success. Maybe you could let us know where you're currently heading and what tests you've had in the past?
Not everything possible.
Yes, that is a very interesting question. The main thing is, where are the kilobargi here?
They are, as always, yes. They are moving in the same direction. Well, the question is, when we look again, yes, besides camels, what other kind of animals? Yes, we noticed. Max, maybe calmer.
Yes, it's not just about the animal types we are developing. Let's honestly discuss the uniqueness and universality of the approach. What else was the task of the IT department? Because what they were developing was a quite universal story. It could be refracted depending on what we are analyzing there. We have completely different types of biological material. So tell me honestly, why are you silent? Retinal pigment cells accordingly. As a result of the presence of a distinct long-term project, certainly, it offers a valuable opportunity to analyze these complex canals and the vital biological material, including its application in treatment, the testing of various genetic variants, genetic therapy, and other similar significant aspects that warrant attention and exploration. So we are not concentrating and narrowing down solely on camels. This is merely one of those already emerging, completely realized, and we do not cease at merely biochips, liquids, or simply an IT system there. The IT system actually involves quite large objects. It is a type of holding narrative that enables a comprehensive infrastructure.
This is what we are moving towards. We are talking about integrated solutions in the form of special liquids, biochips, software, and so on. We are in the process of constructing a massive eco-biotech system that is capable of performing a wide range of tasks. Moreover, the question of cryopreservation seems to have already been solved, and we have made significant progress towards achieving it. In fact, we are now as close to cryopreservation as we possibly can be. And it continues. We are discussing the ecosystem within this enormous platform. And here is what will be encompassed within the periphery of this platform, the tasks that will be included, the solutions that will be provided. Yes, we are in the process of building a comprehensive biotech ecosystem that will foster innovation, collaboration, and advancement in the field of biotechnology. We do not just specialize in software paneling for families. Our expertise goes beyond that. No. Or individual VA chips. No. We loop solutions, making it a unified, monolithic, complex organism. No. Or individual VA chips. No. We loop solutions, making it a unified, monolithic, complex organism.
Guys, are you looking for investments in your project, perhaps? Or maybe, have you already talked to someone?
Do you possess a strategy in place to attract a project that is not constantly seeking out a place for you, I think and believe? No?
Yes, this is for me.
Very well then, if you say so.
This is for me.
So please pay him with money.
Listen, absolutely. We are indeed following the well-established path that is typical of startups in the industry. We concluded a round of financing from friends and family during the previous year. I am hopeful, even without a pulse, right here, in this moment. Our press visit is happening now, with all the necessary arrangements in place. Everything. A prominent investor, a highly robust and innovative strategic angel investor, with strong expertise and a visionary approach. We have finalized and signed an agreement and are now patiently awaiting the arrival of the check. But there is still a small potential for us to find another partner. More precisely, we are eagerly waiting for another strategic partner that is within our reach, specifically one of the AI funds. Yes, because having their support is absolutely crucial to us, and we need to navigate this path with as few bumps in the road as possible to ensure our success in this venture. And these clever individuals will support us in attaining that. So, yes.
Are you specifically looking for someone in the region? Or are you reaching out to such an institutional partner who is a biotechnologist populated worldwide?
In this case, it is more about returning to infrastructure. We have a wide range of tasks to solve, but they are all within the field of biotechnology. And they can vary from animal cells to, roughly speaking, the cultivation of artificial organs in a laboratory setting. Because in any case, it's all about weaving technologies, one way or another. And that's why the infrastructure Maxim talked about includes not only narrow IT solutions or narrow chip solutions or Russian speech. This is part of a larger infrastructure that allows all of this to be done regardless of the region you are in. So this is the situation of preserving frozen cells. Why did we focus so much on this? Because to track the movements of these cells, as you told me every time, we need more material. Accordingly, you need direct access to cellular material for conducting tests, experiments, checking computer vision, its analyses, and so on. So it does not depend solely on one region. It is a global situation, encompassing the entire world. Cell technologies, they are everywhere now. We can't escape, starting from the latest medical research, inventions, and other moments. They're still at cell level. They've explored cell's genome and more, ending with, life governance and biohacking, again, cellular. And only in relation to, take for example, artificial meat cultivation or animal cloning. Still, it's all at the cellular level, and in one way or another, it's all a big infrastructure. You sigh like that because you keep thinking about how much work will pile up on you again. Step aside, as they say. Yes, it needs to be constantly closed. Why is Maxim talking about infrastructure? Because it's the interconnection of all these chains in a way that complements and strengthens each other. That's why our work doesn't focus on us developing just liquid, for example, for energy, or them not containing it already in the process. So that this could be extrapolated to any task. We'll have a task there, something like, some kind of astral tushikanchiki. There was also a little bump in the New Zealand possums. As a result, you're still in place. Here it is.
Unlikely, of course, inexpensive, something else for sure.
Listen, if they are inexpensive, then maybe tomorrow in some situation, like a beetle there, a boat, or there's some mushroom beetle, there will be 10 of them on the planet. By the way, this is also a question of a biological moment and why we're going, because it's a question of diversity. Maybe how many species lost per minute, max leaf of parents. But in general, the question is about preserving biological diversity, especially in the face of swine flu, remember, Tinchy flu, in the face of possible herbicidal infections that do not exist, and the possibility of restoring biological diversity. This is, of course, one of the options and one of the missions, by the way, that we contribute to such a babble to our teams.
I even saw the potential in freezing semen like we have in a bank. Plants?
Yes. Into ARC, yes. Absolutely right. One of topics discussed. And that's why I say the preservation of biological including diversity is one of the missions of our company. Not as in we're altruists, let's all save, for example, but as one of the tasks we put in the corner when solving a specific problem in the room. In order not to reinfect, refreeze, and so on all the animals there, the objective is to preserve it all.
It's a magnificent, probably such a pacifist mission which, and everyone watched the show. A period of 19 years is not deceptive and should not be underestimated or overlooked. So I believe that with the appropriate assistance, this has the potential to truly become an extremely worldwide, pioneering narrative of mine for numerous years in the future. I am particularly concerned about the possibility that individuals will soon no longer give birth in a natural manner. And your primary responsibility is to assume the position in this, in the process of reproduction. I am unaware. You see, in principle, such a bank has the potential to be stored as a seed, which can be a viable option for preservation purposes. And then to recreate mankind, and if he had the ability, then in the aftermath. Well, this ethical error will be with you then.
Well, that's partly the situation why the guys brought me on board, because such banks already exist, right? The question is what storage is, so we're being careful to navigate those pitfalls Maxim talks about, right? We aim to avoid the same pitfalls mentioned by the guys, ensuring they don't hinder our progress. We navigate around them with care. We have surpassed them and are addressing issues that are unresolved and that we either predict will be relevant or, as far as camels are concerned, it's a question that is here and now. He is genuinely relevant. Yes, he is pressing. We are effectively solving it with great success.
Overall, in actuality, it is such a groundbreaking story. It is one of the initial interviews on our channel that specifically focuses on biotechnology, which is something that individuals in the field of biology are actively working on to solve a pressing and acute problem in the region. This problem-solving approach will aid in preserving species, facilitating selection, and assisting farmers in feeding more children.
So at this moment, here we are. I am extremely glad that you came to us basically and successfully made it to our valuable and informative media platform. In fact, it is not that simple to reach the production city, so I will place such a heroic check mark next to your startup. So you could say that you are a tech startup, a kind of visionary here, developing an ecosystem with growth potential, probably on a global level, international, like that, absolutely.
And I apologize for taking a few words about what we, for example, didn't just come up with, let's say, from the street, but we went through the scientific community. Through the community that deals with this, at the level of scientific approach, brainstorming, research, and problem solving. Because it's always a specific group of people who are united, and this science practically has no boundaries. They're united, and this isn't only specific to this area. Specifically, here's Dr. Gulu, to whom we're very grateful, and every time we try to discuss it, we try, because she truly, for a moment, in the book Records of Minuses, the sole person who received offspring from a camel and a llama. It's like intriguing facts, and she is always incredibly open, very welcoming, and highly supportive. And on top of that, she shares it with her internal scientific network. She has many students because she has been involved for a long time, besides. So we don't have the desire to focus solely on one option. By the way, there are quite a lot of camels bred in Russia, many in China, and many in Iran. Generally, the story with animals having reproduction issues, well, it has been discussed before. Yes, there's freezing for those worried, of course. There are many of them, not just camels, etc. So this global approach, why about the universality of technology? I've mentioned multiple times, the universality of technology is crucial to use it later for solving global issues. And that's the question.
So you were able to successfully thaw the drilled dish and she is alive, correct? You did an excellent job.
We will not boast at this time since we still have the second portion of the test that lies ahead of us in the near future to complete. However, the most crucial second fat that we acquired is the structure, this molecular formula, and that development, as well as the production of the liquid, which stimulated cells in a manner that had not been achieved by anyone else in the world prior to us. Thanks, all of you.
I hope that we will continue at the same pace with regard to everything. I also really hope for your success, but for now I see it, observe it, and I am very pleased. Supports you in this, likes your posts, shares videos, makes reposts, and provides assistance.
It is truly with immense pleasure. We sincerely thank you once again for coming to us and sharing such extraordinary and wonderful news.
I am very pleased to cover the news of cutting-edge science in the field of camel breeding. Need to recall. So let us become friends and like each other's posts on social media platforms. Here, our readers, do not hesitate to subscribe to our songs and on LinkedIn as well. Reposting, liking, and writing comments. It is extremely important for us that the community of founders, the community of cool companies, grows and potentially brings more innovations and cool solutions to the world. Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Roman, go.
Engage in a physical fight, engage in a physical fight, engage in a physical fight. Girls, father, that is the end. We have captured it on film. Father, yes.